Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, you good old boys in Canada. You know we love you in Africa, the Big C tribe. But there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave on a beautiful February 14th, 2019. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, with all the dirt that's being tossed around about athletes in the world of sports today, I thought I was out digging in my garden getting dirty like that.
You know you toss a lot of dirt around when you're in that moonshine garden, Big C. I didn't mean to give it away. I thought moonshine was done in barrels, not in gardens, Big C. But I'm always learning, Big C. A lot going on in the sports universe. Everybody's talking about why can't some dumb owners of a Major League Baseball franchise sign two guys that have never won anything. And I think they're starting to sober up themselves. You know, we talk about football year-round, especially down south. It's a year-round tradition for football, Big C. But out here, a lot of it's set, on NBA basketball, college basketball. It's all good. And I just love so much about what's happening on this beautiful, beautiful day here in Northern California today. It's sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. So, Big C, you know it's Valentine's Day. This is the day on Valentine's Day where so many people are making a run to the stores to buy flowers, to buy chocolates, to buy a lot of things that they don't buy throughout the year, but they buy it today. I think it's like love. What did Tina Turner say? What's love got to do? You're supposed to love people all the time, not just on Valentine's Day, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I find it ironic that Valentine's Day falls in Black History Month in February. Not only that, the color of chocolate.
Yep.
Looks like an African American also. So you think that all the love that's in America, Charlton, during Valentine's Day, we could have a more equality society. And we wouldn't have too much hatred and vitriol out there. Just look at Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Look at what it represents.
Yep.
Look at what the month that it falls in, and look at what you pass out the most. Something looking like a chocolate man, okay, Charlton?
Yeah, that chocolate man, that's so funny. I realized that POTUS got a present today at the White House. It was a chocolate bunny, and when he saw his chocolate, he said, "Send it back. I don't want anything chocolate." Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I can see that from him. You got the wrong address. I mean, there's a beer commercial on television where they're talking about, they delivered the corn syrup to the wrong place. And so, POTUS tell them that, hey, you delivered the chocolate bunny to the wrong house. We don't deal with chocolate here.
He said he ordered the white bunny, Big C, is what he said. That's so funny. I just think you got to be careful when you're POTUS ordering bunnies, Big C. Putin sent him a real one, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, he got to remember the late Hugh Hefner is no longer around when he orders bunnies.
That's so funny. So much happening in the sports universe. It's all fair and love and war. We pray for everybody who has no one sending them anything but bill collection. I think even the government that shut down, we had 35 days. There's still people getting bill collectors saying, hey, you need to catch up on that late payment you had. So they'll have hopefully some chocolate to go along to ease their miseries. I love everything that's happening in this great country. There's so much. The NBA All-Star Game is coming up, Big C, and I'm really happy to see it. They had a huge game in LA last year at the Staples Center. Now they're moving it to North Carolina, and they'll hopefully have a great scene there too. But I just want to know, for all of the people who want to go see a good Valentine's movie, like they think, what's a good date movie? I think, and it may not be romantic, but I think it's still a good movie. I remember, and I put my vote up for Beverly Hills Cop, starting the great Eddie Murphy. He was named Axel Foley, the cop in the movie Beverly Hills Cop. He had those great sergeants. There was Taggart and also Billy. And them good old boys were always trying to do things the right way. Eddie Murphy did it the instinctive way, Big C. And I remember Eddie saying, how do you guys solve crimes? Most crimes are solved by instinct or gut instinct. But one of my favorite scenes in there was that old, I guess the detective, and he was saying, is this the man who who wrecked the buffet at the Herald Club this morning? Is this the man who disabled the police car with a banana? You must be the pride of your department. That's my favorite Valentine's movie. Big C, do you have anything that tops that one? Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Charlton, there's a movie that I've always been fond of.
Yeah.
It's called Love Actually.
Yeah.
It's a British-made movie, Charlton. It's a huge cast of characters: Laura Linney, Hugh Grant, Charlton. The gentleman who played in Die Hard, who's the villain in Die Hard, Charlton.
Bruce Willis? Okay, I know what you mean.
You know, I mean, this is a marvelous, marvelous movie, Charlton. It's a movie that's full of various scenes of how people come about to love one another, Charlton.
Yeah.
And what love means to each other during that, wonderful time of February and Black History Month.
Yeah.
Where Valentine's Day is celebrated, Charlton.
Yeah.
But when you see all of these characters and all of these scenes in this movie, Charlton,
yeah,
it just shows how love is, and it crosses barriers, Charlton, and
yeah,
it crosses races. That love is a so powerful emotion, Charlton,
yeah,
that it's only about you and that individual.
Yeah. And
it shows the lengths that people go to, Charlton, to show that person that they love them.
Yeah.
But Love Actually, I mean, you can pull it up, online, Charlton. You can rent it from Redbox. One of the greatest Valentine's movies. I think anybody who cares about somebody would watch this movie and see themselves in one of those roles in the movie, Charlton.
Well, I want to say to all the mothers out there in the universe, happy Valentine's Day from Big C Sport. Happy Valentine's Day to my mom. Happy Valentine's Day to the sisters and my daughter. I just appreciate everybody out there. If you love somebody, always tell them it's yours. It's yours. The love is yours, and don't just wait for Valentine's Day to show someone how much you love them. But I had another revelation, Big C. It is Black History Month. Chocolate is brown. How about this? When you want to give somebody a show of affection, usually you give them some roses. Don't just stick with traditional red. Have a potpourri of flowers sometime. Red is too expectational. But the thing about chocolate, and I want to turn this I want to make it's a satire, but it's true. Chocolate is the most desired flavor of sweetener in the universe. Everybody loves chocolate. With that being said, why is it that discrimination throughout the history of the world, especially from Europeans, they've chosen to eat the chocolate, but to ostracize chocolate-covered people? That make any sense? Your thoughts?
Well, chocolate is a stimulant as well as an aphrodisiac, Charlton.
Yeah.
So when you think about what dark brings to the table, Charlton, when you think about chocolate.
Yeah.
But, if society could love all people, Charlton, like they love chocolate. Chocolate is a world-renowned condiment that people use, Charlton, in everything. Whether it's baking, whether it's cooking, whether it's in drinks, Charlton, whether it's in candy. Chocolate is one of those things, Charlton, that everybody regardless of what region of the world you're from, are familiar with chocolate, Charlton.
Yeah, we hear
So when you think about how universal it is in use, Charlton, why can't we treat chocolate people the way that we treat the condiment chocolate, Charlton?
Yeah.
And, show that same appreciation and respect and love for it, Charlton.
Isn't that amazing?
We wouldn't have racism. Treat Black History Month like you treat the other 11 months of the year. Treat black people like you want to be treated, Charlton.
Yeah. And I think that's really true because we consume things all the time. I know down south, a lot of people, they still grow their foods. A lot of people have gardens. They grow food out of the ground. Well, the earth, the dirt is what color? Is brown, is chocolate. Just like God's people are chocolate people. We all come from the African continent. But I really want to tie in how we can have such love and affinity for chocolate. But when you have a lot of men who are walking in a group that are chocolate looking, they're profiled by law enforcement. Why is that? Same color as the gift they're going to give their wives, Big C. A lot of men are rounded up, are stereotyped. I look at this NBA basketball that we love. It's so popular. It's such a great sport. So many people had a hard time when they saw a lot of chocolate-flavored men doing the players-only broadcast. And I'm being satire, so no one get too offended by saying chocolate-flavored men, okay? People understand what I'm saying. When they saw people of color, even sometimes children, they're taught that because racism is so pervasive, I've heard of studies, even done at Stanford and Harvard, where children were given a white doll and a black doll after they've been, in school, in the school system. They see the teachers white for the most part. They've been shown that God was white, which is not true according to the Bible. They've been shown angels white. Everything God that created was good on this planet. It's all colors. But mainstream turn it into white. If you look at the dictionary, dark is considered senator. White's considered pure and clean and pristine. And I know that after you condition somebody long enough, they will do it out of habit, Big C. But you just made my mind really think, and I know we're being silly at times, but the way we love chocolate, Black History Month celebrates chocolate bunny rabbits, but we need to teach that same type of love and appreciation to people of color. That way we wouldn't talk about building a wall to keep out brown-colored people. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, there's so much vitriol in this country, and it's created by racism.
Yeah.
We think about the divide. I always go back to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
What it calls for, what it stands for.
Yeah.
This is not what this country stands for any longer, Charlton. When it talks about bringing us, you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor, you're downtrodden and left out. This is not what the mantra of America is anymore, Charlton. When I think about the eugenic look of this nation,
yeah,
and that white people will say, this is ours.
Yeah.
When you sit up and listen to white politicians that they king out of Iowa, who said that minorities have had no contribution to American society.
What an idiot.
Minorities have built American society. American society was built on the back of minorities, by minorities.
Yeah.
When you think about the lack of ingenuity that was in America, Charlton, without black input, whites would not have survived. The pilgrims who came to this country, Charlton, would not have survived without the Indians helping them, Charlton. How to deal with the weather climate of this country. But in turn, what they do as a favor, they kill them off and put the rest on reservations. People that have helped whites in this country, Charlton, evolve to where they are, they've all been ostracized. And this is not me just saying it. Google it. Look at history. It shows itself. It's there. But as we have a society that's led now, Charlton, by old white males, whether you're talking about in politics, whether you're talking about in television, whether you're talking about in sports, they are saying this is the way we want things. Regardless of what society expects of us, we control that. We can change the image of everything, Charlton, because we control the airways. So what we say is what's factual. Growing up, as I said, Charlton, we didn't have black in our history classes, Charlton, in the books. Anybody who grew up in the 50s and 60s, Charlton, going to school, can look in the history book. You did not see black children. You did not see black families. It's almost like we did not exist. We were wiped off the face of history, Charlton. And every time you saw an Indian, a Native American, Charlton, you saw someone who was half-dressed. You know, they wanted to portray them as savages, Charlton. They always had to have war paint on their face, walking around with a stick or a spear. They could not be civil people, Charlton. That's the xenophobia that white society has put on every nationality in America in the past, Charlton, and they're doing the same thing here in the present.
And I hate that's why sometimes even our black brethren, and I know they don't control the airways, but you control if you show up or not, and you have don't be ephemeral. Stand up and talk about what's important to you and let people know. I want to look at the Wisconsin State Assembly Black History Month resolution. It was a perfect moment. It was written to include the names of a dozen prominent African Americans, including U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State, great baseball player, Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson, former NFL player, social activist Colin Kaepernick, and now you have some Senate Majority Leaders and Jim Stinkin, from Speaker from Republicans, Robin Voss, Republican also, the GOP. They said they would not support a resolution that included Kaepernick. Now, how can you bring the races together when you don't want to include somebody who believes in liberty and justice for all? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, just like Reggie Jackson and Condoleezza Rice, Colin Kaepernick was born in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. And here it is, you have GOP leaders spewing racism. Now, you got to recall, Milwaukee is the same city where you had an NBA player that was tased by the police because he went in to buy cough syrup. At 2 o'clock in the morning. They tased him coming out of a store. Now, here you have GOP leaders in Milwaukee a white-run Senate and House there, saying that we don't want a resolution where a black man is talking against oppression in society. Is that he is voicing, because that's too powerful. We can't put that much recognition on a black person who is calling what's wrong about American lack of equality, Charlton. But who is the true racist there? Is it the GOP in the Milwaukee Senate, Charlton? You know, that's what you have to look at. Who's the racist? It's not Colin Kaepernick. When you talk about disrespecting the flag, the military, Charlton, and all of that, Charlton, these people that were elected are disrespecting their constituents, Charlton, the people who went out and voted for them. You talk about even during Black History Month, Charlton, that white people will be offended about black people having opportunity to achieve in life, Charlton. How much would that hurt society, Charlton? You think about those two people. What are they going to do in 30 years when they're sitting there with their grandchildren and saying, hey, you know, we voted against a resolution against black people in Milwaukee. You know, that's what we did. That was our part of American history. We vote against resolutions that will show black people of promise, that they've been, you know, very prominent and activist parts of our society. They have done things that are positive, because in those three names, Charlton, when you say Kaepernick, Jackson, and Rice, what negative do they have? You don't see them on police bloggers, Charlton.
No.
I would like to check those politicians' background and see what dirty they have done to sit there and go out and knock against a prominent black athlete in America, a social activist who was speaking up for those who did not have a voice, Charlton.
And I think that the reason that the truth will set you free, is because people get a chance to realize, you know, maybe I do need to do what the late Zig Ziglar said, a checkup from the neck up, but we don't talk about it enough. That's why it's like if you have something hurting in your foot, it might be a splinter in your foot. You might have stepped on some wood. But if you keep pretending you don't feel the pain, you'll just ignore it. Or maybe you inebriate yourself and you don't feel it. It's best to figure out where the pain comes from and then pull it out. We pull it out by talking about it, Big C. That's what I love about Valentine's Day. It makes people even pretend they love people they don't love. I mean, I sometimes out and about you see so many people in stores buying flowers this time of year, because it's a good and a bad thing. I think Valentine's Day should be every day. Like, who's your Noah's Ark? Who do you believe in? Who's going to help you? And I hope that happens. And I'm so sincere when I say I hope that we can find a way to be more kind to all people. But you got to call people out, even if it's ourselves. We call ourselves all the time. The Washington Post, you think about it. They reported Wednesday that President Trump, POTUS, okay, the man who loves the golf, he's an avid golfer, recently installed a new golf simulator at the White House, which was created by black men, designed and built by black men, replacing the one that President Barack Obama installed. It took him a while to do it, Big C, but I thought he was trying to build a wall and get funding for that, but now he's having golf simulators taken out of the White House. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I mean, it's amazing what you can afford on the taxpayer's dollar. You know, you're talking about Mexico was going to pay for a wall. Now, the simulator that was in the White House, Charlton, was installed by a black president. And once he realized that, he had it removed.
He wanted it out.
And he said, I'm not going to play behind the black guy. That's what he did. So he took the taxpayers' dollars, Charlton, to get rid of a simulator that was fine. His wording was he needed a more updated simulator in the White House.
2 years was too old.
Anybody who's been on any golf course, Charlton, the golf courses stay the same. You're going to tell me that Pebble Beach has changed? Phil Mickelson says it's the same golf course that his grandfather carried it. When you look at Augusta, Charlton, the Masters, it's the same golf course that's been there for 100 years. So when you walk around and say, well, I needed a new simulator on the taxpayer's dollar, because I'm spending so much time running the government here of the United States, making sure that we don't have shutdowns, that I'm going through my, security briefings every morning. I need a new golf simulator because I don't spend enough time watching TV.
I think, I have so much fun doing this show with you, Big C. I really just appreciate it's one of the things that makes my day, because we can talk about things that you don't hear on other programs, because we're not scripted. We don't have a producer telling us what to say. We just speak from the heart. I know that resonates so well with people, because most people want you to just tell them the truth. even if they don't like it. I think that's incredible. So hopefully POTUS will play less golf and try to do something.
Well, it's like people say, Charlton, that politics and sports don't mix.
Oh, it makes
So
sense.
you're telling me that playing golf, it has something to do with politics?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So how many hours a day does he spend on this golf simulator?
Yeah.
Charlton, I've tried golf simulators. I need about 4 or 5 swings.
Yeah.
Because it's not natural, and it doesn't feel, and I can't see the ball going where it's going, Charlton.
Yeah.
That hook or slice that never comes into play on a simulator.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the president, it already came out last week, Charlton, about how he spends his time during the day, Charlton, watching television, napping, drinking Diet Cokes, and eating Big Macs.
And they say he's healthy.
Now he's added a new golf simulator. Think about that.
Yeah.
Why do you need to spend so much time? He's already golfed more in his presidency in 2 years than Barack Obama did in 8 years, Charlton.
Yeah.
And so now his simulator was out of date, Charlton.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been more than 4 to 5 years old.
Yeah. I just say it's funny when you call people out. It's just funny. I mean, you got to talk about it because it really is funny. Speaking of golf, the real game, the 13th PGA Tour working ranking. You think about the Riviera Golf Course. Tiger Woods is back doing his thing. You see, even right now, Kang is in first place with 4 under. You have Rogers is -3, and Spieth is -3 as well as Walker's -3. And obviously, the purse is $7.4 million, Big C, $7,400,000. This is really a build-up to the Masters, but I love that Phil Mickelson won down here at the PGA course at Pebble Beach, the Pro-Am tournament, and now you have Tiger's name in the news again. You have Phil Mickelson's name in the news. Of course, guys like Spieth, he's still a young guy, but they can't measure up as far as putting butts in the seats, if that makes any sense. They don't have seats on golf courses. They do have them in grandstands. A lot of people walk around. But we talk about Brady being, over 40. We talk about guys like LeBron, in his 30s, and Drew Brees over 40. And we wonder, can guys, is 40 really the new 30? And when you think of Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson being there in the 40s, and they're still, no matter who's in first place in the world, the number 1 ranked guy, when you mentioned Tiger and Phil, they still move the needle more than anybody who's ranked number 1 or 2 or 3. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you think about what certain individuals mean that are such iconic figures in a particular sport, and you talk about as 40 the new 30, you have to look at the nutrition and training that athletes go through today, Charlton. If we'd have had that 25, 30 years ago, Charlton, think about how long careers would have been. But now, Charlton, they wake up thinking about what they eat, how they work out, how they sleep, Charlton. They have dietitians that are full-time, Charlton, that are taking care of the nutrition that goes in and out of their body. They're being tested and evaluated on a regular basis. So when we think of these athletes, Charlton, being able to produce at these latter years of their lives where guys were raising grandkids before, and these guys are now still active in the sports arena.
Yeah, that's true. I want to get your thoughts, though. It's a personal note. Everybody has their own flavor. But you mentioned how Brady's in his 40s. There's a lot of quarterbacks who are, in the higher 30s. And I just think about how you talked about this nutrition thing. Now, when you played the game, I know you were in, the best shape in your life, probably between 20 and 30, I would say. What was your diet like that guys have made that quantum leap now? Because I'm sure at your highest level as an athlete, you probably ate the way you were taught to eat by trainers and staff, etc. And you did the best you knew how with the knowledge. What do they have now that you didn't have back then, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, like I said, they have personal trainers now that they have. They have dietitians because they can afford these people, Charlton. I think about when I played. You think about James Harrison. James Harrison at one point, Charlton, just retired a year ago from the Patriots after a Super Bowl loss. He was spending between $800,000 and $1 million a year on personal trainers, workouts, dietitians, everything to keep his body home, Charlton, because it was his business. It's a tax write. It was a tax write-off, but that's the amount of money he was spending. You think about Brady. Brady had somebody with him 24 hours, Charlton, as all the elite athletes do. When you think about NBA players, LeBron James has people with him all the time. Players travel with hyperbaric chambers now, Charlton,
Yeah.
to recondition their body. Well, when you think about the intake on athletes, Charlton, at the end of my career, that's when the supplements started to come in. And I don't mean by steroids. I meant by legal supplements.
Yeah.
Started to come in where players started to use them. And I remember taking the various supplements, Charlton, because I had talked with my personal doctor, and he said, James, you're too old to start taking steroids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not going to increase your career another 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, it might damage you more than it will help you because of your age and the deterioration of your joints and everything. You can't put that much more mass on top of it.
Yeah.
And so when you look at a lot of players now, Charlton, and this is one of the reasons why we have so much joint damage in the sports.
Yeah.
Because these players, Charlton, don't have enough fat to protect the muscle, Charlton, so the muscle's always hungry.
Yeah.
And they're eating each other. This is why we see the torn Achilles,
Yep.
the knees, Charlton, the shoulders and elbows. Because of that, athletes of 40 years ago, Charlton, had a little more cushion. They didn't have as much muscle mass,
Yeah.
but they had a little more cushion on the body.
Yeah. Well,
But now,
yeah.
Charlton, what allows these players to get older is because of the way they're able to take care of themselves financially, not just through workouts, but they're able to bring people in to assist them on a full-time basis, not just during the off-season being in the gym with a bunch of other guys that want to chuck up some iron.
Yeah, well, I heard Phil Mickelson never really been in shape. He's never been chiseled. Tiger Woods is chiseled. In fact, some people hated the fact that he was so
But he's
chiseled.
always had a personal trainer, Charlton, from day one.
Always a trainer. But even now, Phil is getting back into, I guess he's trying to get in better shape because he let himself go. If you stood next to Tiger, you could see Tiger was always the best fit golfer on the golf course. There's a couple of guys that are coming on the scene that are trying to be that way. But I think about a guy like Matt Kuchar, a PGA player, won a tournament in Mexico last year. He gave, I think his caddy was $5,000. Now, he gave him a couch of $5,000, and it's sponsored by Bridgestone and FootJoy. The normal purse to a caddy is 10%. Kuchar won $1.3 million. That would be $130,000. Now, you talked about how much money James Harris has spent as an older athlete, keeping himself in shape, I think $800,000 to $1 million. Well, when a golfer can go out and make that amount of money, say in a tournament, in one tournament, and they cheat the caddy. Caddies can't stay in shape. But give me your thoughts on this new evolution of golfers. It's not going to be like when Mario Torino was doing his thing or Nicklaus was doing his thing. It's going to be more like Tiger Woods, and it's going to be people of that ilk. And even Johnson, they have a nice build about them, but they make a lot more money than the average football player made back in the day too. Big, so your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I want to touch on that part about Kuchar, winning the tournament down in Mexico. Now, normally all caddies travel with the golfer, Charlton.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own personal caddy.
Yeah.
Kuchar made a deal with this Mexican caddy, Charlton, when he went down to the tournament in Mexico, that I'll pay you $3,000.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I understand they made the agreement before the tournament. But why even make that agreement with this guy, Charlton? You felt that he was beneath the 10% right off the bat.
Yeah.
Not after winning the tournament, Charlton, but before the tournament. You go in and cut a deal with the guy. But you think about it, Charlton, that $3,000 would have probably been more money than what he made in a month.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're gauging this on, Charlton. We're gauging this on the ethics of golf,
Yeah.
of the business, of the profession. Think about if this had been Tiger Woods, Charlton, and he gave a caddy $5,000
Yeah.
after he had won a tournament.
Yeah.
He made his caddies millionaires, Charlton.
Yeah.
Williams was, he became a multi-millionaire caddy for Tiger during Tiger's heyday.
Yeah.
But here it is, Kuchar going down there, Charlton, to Mexico, making a deal with the caddy prior to it. Now, he should have made it public
Yeah.
that he was making the deal with the caddy.
Yeah.
He wins $1.3 million, Charlton. And he offers the caddy, he gives him $5,000, Charlton.
Yeah.
$5,000. Now, he's made $1.3. He could have easily given the caddy $50,000, Charlton.
Yeah.
Or what he should have gotten would have been $103,000, Charles. $130,000 actually. What the caddy should have got.
Donald Trump knows how much money $130,000 is. You might get Trump excited. Be careful with that number, Big C.
Yeah, that's Trump's number. Maybe that's why I didn't pay him, because that's Trump's number.
You said Stormy.
Think that he was, getting some personal favor.
You said Stormy Daniels made more in 4 minutes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Anybody who's ever gone to a restaurant.
Yeah.
What is the normal tip in a restaurant? 15 to 17%.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll tell you that if you got a party more than 6 people, they'll automatically add 18% to the bill.
Yeah.
They don't even want you to try to figure it out.
Right.
But 10% is below the tip minimum, Charlton, in a restaurant. And here it is. Here's a guy who's carried your clubs around for 4 days. He's carried this 70-pound bag of yours around for 4 days.
Yeah.
He's helped you with every shot that you have made. He sit there, he studied the greens because he knows the golf course. He knows the wind. He knows the slope on the green.
Yeah.
And you're telling him, oh, let me up this, to $5,000 instead of the $3,000 that I was going to give you.
Yeah.
Even though I've made $1.3 million. Like I said, if this was Tiger Woods doing this to a white caddy, Charlton, there would be a lawsuit.
Yeah.
There would be more vitriol in the news and on the sports stations, Charlton, than what Kushner's got. And like I said, he's sponsored by Bridgestone.
Yeah.
He's sponsored by FootJoy, Charlton. Those two companies pay him more than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And he could only pony up $5,000 to a caddy. His sponsors should at least step up, Charlton, and give him the 10%.
Yeah, you would think that because the money's there, they all make it. It'd be nice if they shared it. I want to say sports is a $1 billion industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this $1 billion industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They work with Big C Sports. They've been around half a century. They work with pro teams, your collegiate teams, your high school teams, and your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. I want to just get your thought again on this way that Tiger came back. The way Tiger came back from the back fusion, the spinal cord fusion, whatever he had done to him, it's amazing what medicine does. Kobe came back when he had his foot problem. I think he went to Europe to get some work done. We talked about what happened in the NFL with the quarterback for the Washington Redskins, whether Alex Smith will ever come back, maybe not. I think something similar to that happened to Joe Theismann, which ended his career as well, because you want to see players being healthy. We really don't hear about hockey players having the same kind of injuries that, say, a football player has, or even a basketball player. Baseball players get injured all the time, but they have a rotator cuff injury, or they call it, the Tommy John surgery. They'll come back and play because they have that physical conditioning. And I just want to touch on it one more time, because everybody's selling medicine pills and come get the Nip Tuck Society, get the fat cut out of your body. But you said when you were playing and you saw guys that were getting big and strong, back in the days with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steel Curtain, we knew what those guys were doing to put stuff, what was that guy's name? Webster? We knew what Webster was doing. There are a lot of players now that don't do that, but they do something. Are you saying that it would have added maybe another 5 years to your career, or even athletes that played back in your era, if they had the same type of, knowledge of science and medicine today? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, if you look at how careers are prolonged today, the major part of having a lengthy career, Charlton, is staying healthy, first and foremost.
Yeah.
You can be in the greatest condition that anybody could ever be in life, Charlton.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're going to have a prolonged career.
Yeah.
It's about staying healthy. That is the number one omen of an athlete, is your health.
Yeah.
Granted, players today, Charlton, have a little more advantage, health-wise, because of the nutrition and the workout regimens that they go through. It's all regulated and monitored, what everybody does, Charlton. Teams have dietitians starting in college, Charlton.
Yeah.
You have strength and conditioning coaches for college and high school athletes today, Charlton. So they get an early start.
Yeah.
Me, Charlton, I never lifted weights until I got to college.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
When you get to college, and then when you walk in the weight room, it was like going into a foreign country. You got all these older guys and they're lifting weights. It's like, why? I'm a great athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you realize what you got on the field. It's some guys maybe were a little stronger than what they were in high school.
Yeah.
So you needed to get there, Charlton. But I was behind the curve.
Yeah.
I eventually caught up, but I was behind the curve.
Yeah.
Guys have it now, Charlton. When they get to high school, most major high schools, Charlton, have weight programs.
Yeah.
Where they have the Olympic weight sets. They have a strength and conditioning class, Charlton, that they just put the athletes through now.
Yeah.
We had gym. You know, you go in, play around.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep, I remember
but
that
now,
too.
Charlton, when players get ahead early, it allows them to extend their careers if they can stay healthy.
Yeah.
There's more athletes, Charlton, that get hurt and don't have a career than what we realize.
Yep.
We only see the guys who play a length of time.
Yeah.
But you know, just like we talked about in the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago, when Patrick Chung broke his arm,
Yeah.
you think about that. Boom, all of a sudden, one play, he got a broken arm. You're sitting out the rest of the game for a half.
Yeah.
We talk about Alex Smith, broken leg. Think about what medical technology is. Joe Theismann's leg that he broke, Charlton, is an inch and a half shorter than his other leg.
Yeah.
He walks with a limp, very noticeable limp.
Yeah.
Alex Smith, when he gets through with his surgery, Charlton, because he's wearing a halo on his leg, to keep the bone extended, Charlton, they have to put a rod and then keep extending it. They got to go back in, do surgery again, and replace that rod, put another rod in.
Yeah.
Medical technology, Charlton, has allowed Alex Smith to get the normal length of his leg once he's over this, Charlton. But I still don't think it'll allow him to play football. The nutrition and workout regimens, Charlton, that they have now have extended all careers. When you talk about Phil Mickelson winning at Pebble Beach, he's 49 years old, Charlton.
Yeah. Yep, and that's because they have the new technology. And I hope on Valentine's Day that we can really have a health consciousness and look into it. Where we can have science prolongs life. We know that that's irrefutable. And I hope that more people can get knowledge of that, especially young people. Stop eating so much salt and sugar and a lot of bad things that we do. But speaking of that, I want to get your thoughts on Broadway Joe. Joe Namath, when he played, a good old boy from Alabama down your neck of the woods. And when he played for the New York Jets, I thought he was a big 6'4" guy. But I mean, when I watched him at the Super Bowl, and he was giving out, he was holding a trophy that the Patriots could all touch it and kiss it. Hope they don't have mononucleosis, all those guys kissing on that same trophy, Big C. But Joe Namath looked like he wasn't even 6 feet tall. I just want to know, I mean, I don't know, but surgery, we know he had knee problems. And you talked about Theismann having a limp. Joe, he can barely walk at times, but he's walking better now. I'm sure he's had knee replacements. A lot of guys have. But have you noticed that he's shrunk compared to the days where he won the Super Bowl? Big C, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, he's gotten shorter, Charlton. He's had both knees replaced. You got to understand, he has one hamstring that's a knot in the back of his leg because he tore a hamstring. And medical technology wasn't advanced enough, Charlton, to repair that hamstring at that time.
Yeah.
And the doctor told him he didn't need it because he was a quarterback and didn't run.
Wow.
But, later on in life, it causes problems for you.
Yeah.
Not only that, Joe Namath never stood straight up, Charlton. He always had a little hump on his shoulders, held his head down.
Yeah.
And that over years, Charlton, has caused a little curvature in the spine, in the back, the shoulders, and the neck, Charlton. And he roughly stands about 6 feet tall now, Charlton. But back in the day, he was never a tall quarterback. He was 6'2" at best.
Yeah.
When he played.
Yeah.
And so all of us shrink, Charlton, over time. I've lost a 3/4 to an inch in my height, Charlton, over time.
Yeah.
You have a lot of spinal compression, Charlton, as an athlete, especially as a lineman, because you're always jamming your body. And so those tissues are going to go together, Charlton.
Yeah.
They just lose mass. And that's what happens also, Charlton, when you lose the muscle mass.
Yeah.
Is that your body will contract a little bit.
Well,
you think about yourself when you're younger and you have a huge chest, Charlton.
Yeah.
Then as you get older, you got a huge gut. Okay? That pulls everything down also, Charlton.
Yeah,
gravity will affect you in many ways.
Yeah. We got to talk to Mother Nature about that. We could definitely help Mother Nature improve on some things, Big C. I want to think about guys like, you think about how tall, see, look at Shaq. Shaq's like 7 feet 2, something like that. I'm sure Shaq, by the time he reaches 50, will probably be about maybe 6'11", because all the compression on him, like guys like Bill Walton, the great Patrick Ewing, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, guys that are 7 feet tall, and they, of course, they may lose an inch or two, but they're still 6'10", 6'11". But just watching LeBron James standing next to Magic Johnson, I thought Magic was about 6'8", 6'9", and LeBron 6'8". But I swear, when I saw them stand close to each other in the Forum or the Staples Center, I think LeBron's about 2 inches taller than Magic. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, cameras angles will create a lot of that also. If somebody's standing on the edge of the floor and standing on the concrete,
yeah.
When you see that, Magic is a legitimate 6'8" as well as LeBron is.
Yeah.
I've stood next to both of them, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they're both the same height.
Yeah.
But, camera angles will create that. When you look at tall individuals, Charlton, it's hard to gauge unless you're looking there eye to eye with them, Charlton.
Yeah.
And you got to understand where the cameraman's standing at when they're shooting somebody. Which side are they shooting from?
Yeah.
So that guy that's furthest away, will always look taller, Charlton.
Yeah.
Just because of the camera angle.
Yeah.
I was standing next to Dikembe Mutombo not too long ago in the airport.
Yeah.
Dikembe is still a legitimate 7'2", Charlton.
Really?
And Shaq is still at 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
So, unless your body goes through a lot of compression and you have a huge abdominal change, Charlton,
yeah.
in your latter years, you'll maintain most of that height. There's a commercial now with Bo Jackson on television, and Bo has gotten some girth on him.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's not working out.
Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas always shoots with a black T-shirt on, Charlton, leaning over when he shoots the commercial.
Big Poppy, yeah, all of us. I guess all of us. Father Time catches up to everybody, Big C. We got to find a way to give Father Time some moonshine, make sure he calms down a little bit, Big C. I want to get your thoughts on something that happened in the NBA last night. And I know, and then again, people can say, because they may hear on Big C Sports, but they don't hear on the sports, so sometimes people might think, well, why do you always point out what mainstream is doing? But I want to get your thoughts because I still hear media taking phone calls, and they can tell you what they want to say. What are you going to talk about? If it's not what the host wants to talk about, they'll say, no, we don't want to talk about that. Talk about something else. Well, there's still people talking about how they hate the players only broadcast with Isaiah Thomas. I gotta ask your thought, because we got on Bill Walton and people get on us, so it's all fair and love and war. But why is it about our white NBA superstars, they don't get talked about negatively in the media as much, but they have the same type of challenges that African American stars have, whether it's football or basketball? And I know I see it because I pay attention to stuff like that, where sometimes they get the pat on the back. Well, we'll get ridiculed, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they don't have the same hurdles as a black athlete to jump over, Charlton. When you think about white privilege, what broadcasters get, Charlton, the opportunity to work in the industry, the opportunity to get help all the time in the industry, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's what comes to the white broadcaster. They say, well, the guy looks like us and he speaks like us.
Yeah.
Nobody speaks the same, Charlton. Just because you can speak well does not make you knowledgeable about a sport, Charlton. It doesn't make you knowledgeable about a politician. But, when I hear this vitriol coming from white broadcasters, Charlton, always knocking black athletes, why is that? Why do you have to spend the time knocking the guys who've allowed you to earn a good living, Charlton?
Yeah.
Because these guys, and without these black athletes, Charlton, where would you be?
Yeah.
Turn on a sporting event, Charlton, other than a hockey game, and you can't even find a hockey game nowadays that have all white players in it, Charlton.
Yeah.
And see how popular it is. Okay, think about it. Hockey, Charlton, is a sport that's probably 97% white.
Yeah.
How much do you see it on national broadcast, Charlton?
Not that much.
97% white.
Yeah.
You don't see it on national broadcast.
You don't.
Baseball is a sport that's probably 60%, 65% white, Charlton.
Yeah.
How much baseball do you get on national broadcast?
Not a lot.
But when you talk about the NFL, Charlton, which is 70 to 72% black, you talk about the NBA, which is 75% black also. How much do you get on national broadcast? One of the biggest sports in America, Charlton.
Yeah.
They are black-played sports. And people say, well, you're being flippant and racist about that. No, I'm being factual.
Yeah.
You make your living off the work of black men in athletics.
Yeah.
You do. You become millionaires working off of black men in America. If you think that I'm lying, Charlton, put a white football game on. Just get two white teams. You're going to tell me there's not enough white players to have two white NFL teams, Charlton? It's not. But the owners know they want to make money.
Yeah.
They know that the fans want to be entertained. It's like in the NBA.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers in baseball, attendance, Charlton, and television ratings.
Yeah.
Where have they gone? South.
Yeah.
Not down here where I'm living, but south of the border where Trump's trying to put up a wall, okay?
Yeah. Maybe it's a home run wall.
Those numbers.
Maybe in fairness to Trump. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, Charlton, they don't have enough minority players, black players, not just minority, but black players in the sport, Charlton.
Yeah.
Hockey and baseball, Charlton, those eugenic, white, American pastimes, Charlton, don't have the black participation in them to make them popular and make sponsors want to be there every day.
Yeah, and I know what we say is true. That's why we got to treat everybody like it's Valentine's Day, because that's when they love chocolate and when you're an athlete. And I think it's so true. Even as a young boy growing up, I had more appreciation and affinity from my white brethren, especially my elder statesmen, coaches, when they could see, hey, you're an athlete, we could use you to help us win games. But I want to get them that criticism, because last night, and he may have been right, Coach Kerr, head coach Golden State Warriors, looking for a three-peat, okay? He was kicked out of the game up in Portland, and we had predicted they would lose the game in Portland, because sometimes there's a little bit of funny business in Portland, how things are called. But he was kicked out of the game, and he really went off on the official. Now, I know Davis got a fine down in New Orleans for talking about wanting to leave. I think Magic Johnson was fined because they were saying they called him tampering, and LeBron James, hey, you can't.
Joel Embiid got a fine for saying that the refs suck.
Joel Embiid got a fine for saying the refs suck. But saying the refs suck is different than what Steve Kerr did, because he was going at him so badly, Durant had to pull him off, okay? Now, Durant has been marginalized and criticized by media because he won't say if he wants to stay in Golden State or not. He's focused on his job. But Steve Kerr, I just want you to ask us on Valentine's Day, Black History Month, and I love the work that Steve Kerr does, but if he were a black head coach tearing into that official the way he was doing, I think it would be all over the news, not about, oh, Steve's passionate. It would be, hey, we got to find a way to draw the line, because this becoming abusive now. Back in the day, Latrell Sprewell had an incident where he and one of his coaches down at Golden State, they had a choking incident, okay? And I don't see the vitriol in the pushback and how over the top Steve Kerr was. He was out of line, but it's as if he got the pat on the back as opposed to, hey, we suspend this guy. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, thinking about it, that had been Casey, Charlton, who coached the Toronto Raptors last year in the Detroit Pistons this season.
Yeah.
If he had gone off like that on an NBA official.
Yeah.
But, when I looked at what Steve Kerr did, Charlton, I saw that in a movie script.
Yeah.
Okay, you go back and remember the movie Hoosiers with Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman did the same thing in the movie Hoosiers that Steve Kerr did last night. So I'm kind of thinking that Steve Kerr might have been watching the movie Hoosiers for a little motivation.
Yeah.
And he needs to send Gene Hackman his 10%.
Or Bobby Knight.
On that role that he played last night.
Yeah.
But none of it is acceptable, officials are human beings. We see more and more in all sports, Charlton, that the mounting errors that officials are making.
Yeah.
And I think that all the leagues, as far as the commissioners and the owners, are just as culpable as the officials are, Charlton. Don't implement instant replay if you're not going to utilize it.
Yeah.
If you're going to allow human error to change the outcome of games, Charlton, get rid of instant replay. Don't use it for anything.
Yeah.
And so this is the biggest problem we have, is that you got instant replay, Charlton, and you won't utilize it. You won't go back and correct your mistake.
Yeah.
We know you're human. Just like that coach is human, Charlton, when he comes out there and throwing a hissy fit, on the court. But, you got to give credit to Gene Hackman in the movie Hoosiers. If you haven't seen it, go see it. One of the greatest basketball movies of all time.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr did his best Gene Hackman emulation last night.
So that's your Valentine's show? You want to go watch Gene Hackman for your Valentine's movie? I think that's great, Big C. But I just want people to know how Durant or Westbrook, or they all get criticized, but Kerr, the way Kerr behaved last night, that was not normally what Steve Kerr would do, but really not a lot of criticism behind it, Big C. I want to get your thoughts too. And the New York Knicks, they've lost 18 consecutive games. They play the Atlanta Hawks tonight before the All-Star break. Will they make it 19? What a joke of a franchise in America's biggest city, the Knicks, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Tom Nolan, who owns the New York Knicks, Charlton, have made this team what it is. And fans and even people in the media got to stop talking about this tanking thing.
Yeah.
And the commissioner, Adam Silver, needs to do something about it also, Charlton. You can't trade away all the decent players that you have on your team and think that you're going to advance and make your team stronger, Charlton, by getting one draft pick.
Yeah.
We talk about this in the NFL all the time, Charlton, when people say, well, they need a couple draft picks. Draft picks don't make a team, Charlton. That's Bill Belichick, who keeps going to the Super Bowl, going outside and free agent, cast off some other teams, Charlton.
Yeah.
So as these people keep talking about, well, we want Zion Williams. Zion Williams has never won an NBA title, less known an NCAA title, Charlton.
Yeah.
So as these people keep talking about that, and the Knicks, everybody in the media out there talking about, the Knicks are going to get this guy. Everybody wants to go play for New York.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, Charlton, is no longer the mecca of professional sports. It is not.
No.
Because television has made every arena, Charlton, the mecca if you have a winning team.
Yeah.
You could say that the Staples Center, Charlton, is the mecca of basketball.
Yeah.
It used to be during Showtime and Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
Now it's Oracle Arena, Charlton, in Oakland. It's the mecca of NBA basketball because you won 3 out of the last 4 NBA titles, Charlton.
Yeah.
It is the mecca.
Yeah.
You know, the Palace in Detroit was the mecca at one time. Chicago Stadium and the United Center was the mecca in Chicago, Charlton.
Yeah.
The New York Knicks, Charlton, the Boston Garden used to be a favorite place. Now it's TD Garden.
Yeah.
So when you think about Madison Square Garden and all your buddies in the media talking about, Durant's going there, Kyrie Irving's going there.
Right.
They want to go to a team, Charlton, has lost 19 consecutive games and has no chance of making the playoffs in the last 3 seasons.
Wow.
What a joke for all the alleged intelligent guys, Charlton, that are in the media, making that farce up to say, hey, the black guys want to go and be losers.
Especially when they threw out Charles Oakley, he bought his own ticket. You think about Nikola Jokic and Dirk Nowitzki. There's a lot of the European flavor in the NBA, how things have changed in the NBA since the days of Don Barksdale in 1951, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, Don Barksdale was the first African-American player to play in an NBA All-Star game, 1951. You think about this, Charlton, spin ahead 2019.
Yeah.
There's not one white American on the NBA All-Star team, Charlton.
Wow.
Either one. Not one white American basketball player on the NBA All-Star. You got 3 Europeans, Charlton, on the NBA All-Star. There's not a white American basketball player in the NBA good enough to be an All-Star. So you think about that. How will white media address that, Charlton? You won't hear anything about this other than with Charlton and Big C Sports.
Yeah.
We're the only ones who will address that issue. And people say, well, you guys are being one-sided. No, we're being factual.
Yeah.
White people tune into the NBA to watch black guys play.
Yeah. Period.
Field an all-white team. See what your record is in the NBA. You can't. There's no more Larry Birds around, Charlton.
Yeah.
There's not. And Larry got by with a whole lot of help, as good as he was.
Yep, got a lot of help.
But you don't see that anymore. You find a professional sport, Charlton, in America, where there's no white Americans representing you in the All-Star team, Charlton. This might be the first time in history that no white Americans have made an All-Star game, Charlton, in America.
That's amazing when you bring that up, because even and I still look at that and I wonder, this vitriol that I have been listening to against players only. And it's one thing to say, hey, I don't like a broadcast. Okay, if you don't like a broadcast, turn it off. But when they started, I mean, these are some of the callers who are supposed to be screened. They have a screener and they have a 7-second kill button on these radio stations. But when they let the vitriol come through, it's deeper than he had it like his broadcast. There's some guys on A teams that you don't like their broadcast. But it went into, well, they're inarticulate. They don't enunciate the words well. They don't speak good English. And I like, what radio station host is wanting to hear that garbage and then agreeing with it?
The same radio station that you heard that on, Charlton, what will they say about the All-Star game? Will they come on Monday and say, well, no white Americans in the game? They had 3 white Europeans. We don't have one white American basketball player in the NBA that's good enough to be an All-Star. How will they handle that? I challenge everybody, Charlton, on Monday, when they're sitting around having their coffee, taking their call-ins, ask their listeners, how did they feel watching the All-Star game and no white Americans represented the NBA? How did you feel? How did that make you think where whites stand in athletics in America? That only the rich black guys can play and a couple of their European friends.
Well, let me transcend to something then. Because there are a lot of people saying that Adam Silver, current commissioner of the NBA, took over for David Stern, that maybe the NFL, because Goodell can't stay around forever, but the NBA has overtaken the NFL in popularity. Ratings give or take, NBA right now, we're not even in the playoffs, and people are more interested in what's happening in NBA basketball than they are. I mean, we still got 25 games to go. And people are so in tune to this league, whether it's because all the players are African American or whether there's a couple of Europeans sprinkled in or not. But I want to get your thoughts. What has Silva done to maybe pull back on criticism, the people who make you the money, that Goodell has dropped the ball? Even though NFL ratings have gone up they could be higher. If you did not demonize the athletes just because of their skin color, you could love them like you love the Easter Bunny. I'm not being flippant, Big C. Your thoughts?
Charlton, I don't know how much credence to put into that to say that the NFL wants Adam Silver as commissioner. Adam Silver is an open-minded commissioner. He allows players to have freedom to speak their mind, to say what they want, to take political stances, Charlton. You don't see any, fight back in the NBA about its players when they go out and say Black Lives Matter on the floor wearing a shirt, when they make a statement at the ESPYs, Charlton. You don't see that. The NFL compared to the NBA, Charlton, is a plantation mentality. Colin Kaepernick, if Adam Silver was the commissioner of the NFL, would be playing in the NFL.
I agree.
They're not going to cross that bridge, Charlton, because Adam Silver would not allow the actions of the owners, Charlton, to ostracize players for their political stance, Charlton. The players would be able to take a knee. They would be able to stay in the locker room, do whatever they want without being fined. That would never be mentioned if Adam Silver was the commissioner of the NFL. The NFL does not want to give NFL players black power like the NBA has given black players black power, Charlton. They own 53% of the league. That's through the commissioner, Charlton, working with the owners to give the players that power. You think the NFL is willing to give up ownership to the players, Charlton? No, hell no. They'll never do that.
They won't do that.
Adam Silver is a pipe dream as far as being the commissioner of the NFL. Whoever started that dog whistle need to drop it.
I would like to see Ozzie Newsome if they're going to replace anybody. That's just my own opinion. Did a great job building the Baltimore Ravens. Also a former athlete, a guy who's very, very fair and very well respected around the league. I want to just look at a few things before we close out today on Valentine's Day so people can get out and buy those red roses if you still have any left in the stores, Big C, or at least some chocolate so they don't have to keep bothering me wanting to shake my hand or lick my hand, Big C, if you understand what I'm saying. The new national rule allows for the use of instant replay in prep football games. Prep football, has gambling reached even the prep level, Big C? Your thoughts?
It has, Charlton. When you think about all the Supreme Court deregulating gambling in all 50 states, why would you want to have instant replay in youth football, Charlton, on the high school level? It's not that important. But when it gets down to that's tampering, Charlton. And who's going to be overseeing that instant replay, Charlton, in high school football? You're going to have an official in New York, a nationwide, or is it going to be some booster up there in the press box, Charlton, looking at his video camera? Is that what we're going to have? I mean, and it's going to be up to each state and league to regulate, Charlton. But there's no national regulation, so this is a far-reaching thing.
It's amazing. They see full contact drills during New Jersey high school football practice. They're restricted to 6 hours in the week. Preseason 15-minute drills during the season. This resolution was passed by the Interscholastic Athletic Association. I think that's good in how you look at protecting high school athletes, Big C, but we know there's a lot of money that's pouring into even the high school levels, especially when the mothership does a lot of broadcasts nationwide. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, we touched on that yesterday, that you can no longer get insurance, for more than one carrier now in the United States as far as, taking care of athletes because of head trauma. And so this is an issue, Charlton, that addresses the insurance issues. if you can't insure them, Charlton, why are you going to put them out there in peril? Because somebody's going to have to pay if somebody gets injured.
Yeah.
There's going to be the school district, the county, the state, Charlton, that's going to be sued. That's the reason why you have insurance companies.
Yeah.
It goes to deep pockets. But as insurance companies backed away from these athletes, the state has realized that they're going to be liable. So they have put a moratorium on the time that they can have physical contact through the week. And I like that, Charlton.
Yeah.
You teach fundamentals. Don't teach beating down. I remember we used to have this thing called a shotgun drill, Charlton.
Yeah.
Where you lined up on your back, you got up, you had to run through these pads and go head on to each other.
Yeah.
And that's what it was about. It was about trying to knock each other out.
Yeah.
That's how football was taught years ago,
Yep,
Charlton.
it was.
It wasn't taught just, learning fundamentals. It was, let's see who can hit each other the hardest. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of the technique, it wasn't always there.
Yeah, and that's a shame that, I mean, it's good that we have it. It's a shame it took so long, Big C, on this beautiful Valentine's Day. No one has reached out and grabbed that pocketbook to get some baseball players that are highly overpriced. Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, good players, but no one signed them yet. Spring training is approaching. Have you think that athletic owners, teams that own, people that own athletic teams, they're starting to do contract negotiation before they start to drink, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, what has happened now in baseball is civility that has come back to ownership.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, why are we going to be held hostage by Scott Boras?
Yeah.
And Scott Boras represents both of them. He also represented Kyler Murray, who decided to go to the NFL and forego baseball for the time being.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as an owner, you have to look at the shrinking attendance in the ballparks.
Yep.
We just talked about also, Charlton, we don't have black athletes in the game anymore.
No.
If you look at Mookie Betts, who was American League's MVP,
Yep.
and almost Triple Crown winner, Charlton.
Yeah.
He and his teammate J.D. Martinez. Mookie Betts got $20 million from the Red Sox for next season, Charlton.
Yeah.
After being the MVP. And at last I checked, Bryce Harper didn't win the MVP, nor did Manny Machado.
No.
And so this is what owners are looking at. We got a guy who's the MVP who helped us win the World Series. Why am I going to go out there and pay guys who can't win the World Series against us
Yeah.
more than what he's making? That's the reality of the sport, Charlton.
I love when you just keep it real like that, because these guys are not worth that much money. Let them go out and get a job selling insurance if they think they can't play for less than $10 million a year. That's the reality. Start putting money into your fans, not guys that are going to fleece your business. And if Boras thinks they're worth it, let Boras pay him out of his own bank account, Big C. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how could you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in this sports universe?
Well, Charlton, I'm hoping that Max Scherzer will step up with all this criticism he had about the pennies that he paid to the Mexican caddy, last year down after winning the tournament, giving him an insulting $5,000, Charlton.
Yep.
And be a man of character. Be a man of substance. That you made over $1 million in a golf tournament, and you act like it was going to hurt you to give this guy $50,000 who carried your 50-pound bag around, Charlton, for 4 days.
Yep.
Be a man. Hold a press conference. Said I made a mistake.
Yep.
And I'm going to honor this man with the 10% that he should rightfully get.
Yep, and that's true. That's real talk, Big C. We hope that everybody's enjoying your beautiful, happy Valentine's Day. Pick up the phone. Tell somebody you love them, especially your parents. Everybody knows everything is sweeter when it comes from chocolate. Speaking of chocolate, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever an excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. As we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.